We're now less than a month away from hurricane season, and things are changing in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy. That storm's devastating effects on the Northeast have led to changes in the cone of uncertainty and more, as meteorologist Betty Davis reports.
There are lessons learned from every major storm, and Hurricane Sandy is no exception. One key change, extending the tropical weather outlook from 48 hours to 5 days to give us more heads up on developing systems. At the same time, the forecast cone is shrinking, but don't be fooled by what that means.
How many years did we hear Max saying, don't focus too much on that black skinny line? I feel like I need to start saying, don't focus too much on that narrow white cone, because the effects of a system can extend well outside that cone.
Today, Local 10 hurricane specialist Max Mayfield and I had a chance to catch up with Dr. Rick Knapp, director of the National Hurricane Center, to learn about other changes ahead, including experimentation with a new storm surge graphic.
The hope is that sometime this year in 2013 that we'll be able to put out this experimental graphic that shows the potential for flooding above ground level due to storm surge. It would show graphically how far inland that could go. It's not just a beach problem.
And starting this year, the National Hurricane Center will continue to issue watches and warnings even after a system passes and become what's known as post-tropical. The idea is to get people to stop focusing on the storm itself and instead focus on the hazards it creates.
Don't get lost in the science. Protecting life and property is of the utmost importance.
And ultimately, do what your local officials tell you to do, regardless of the status of the system, regardless of the category, regardless of where that track is. They know what hazards that you might be vulnerable to and what you should be doing.
Our own Max Mayfield has been integral in helping develop that storm surge graphic that the Hurricane Center will be experimenting with this year. Hopes are that it can be fine-tuned and officially rolled out in 2015.
All right. And Betty, what about all the current budget constraints and the talk of furloughs? I mean, just as we're approaching hurricane season, should people be concerned?
Well, Dr. Knapp said at this point in time, discussions are still underway between the labor unions and those higher up at NOAA. But he said if there were any furloughs at the time of an approaching storm, well, those furloughs would be canceled. He said the utmost importance is placed on public safety. So let's get our hurricane preparedness plans ready and not worry so much about the furloughs.
And we're all praying for a quiet hurricane season.
Yes, we are.
The prayers are going up.
But we're here for you. June 1, it gets going.
You and Max. Thanks so much, Betty.